everybody, to yet another edition of Futbol on Futbol, joined as usual by Andres and Johnny remotely.
Yo.
And our boy Rafa for, there we go, producing, helping us mic this, record this, and stream it. Big shout out to the Full Heel Studios as usual. And we are coming at you at the end of the Premier League season officially, post-COVID, with 2 matches to go in Serie A, but the title already decided. So before we get right in to talk about what the English call Championship Sunday, I find it funny that they call it Championship Sunday despite the fact that the championship was won long ago, right? But last week, Andres won. He's on a little roll. He got the most picks again. I guess sprinkling a little more of that respect on his name.
Respect on my name.
A little bit more, sprinkling a little bit more of that on with a back-to-back win. Now, I guess to take some of that back, it was a shitty week for everybody. You won with three correct picks. I got 1. Johnny got none. It was a rough week. So this week might be the end of picks for a while. Because then there's just the FA Cup this weekend and a couple of matches in Serie A to finish, and then nothing till the Champions League. So this will be the last edition of picks for a little bit, I think. But yeah, we'll start in England, where everybody played this past Sunday at 10 a.m. Central American time, Central Standard. And it was a little bit inconvenient because you couldn't watch all the matches, right? They were on simultaneously. But I guess it adds to the tension and drama and suspense that is usually comes with the last day of the English season. We had important matches in the relegation battle, right, or in the battle for survival, and also for European spots. In the end of it all, Manchester United finished 3rd, Chelsea finished 4th. First and second have long been decided, but United is back in the Champions League. Frank Lampard steers Chelsea into the Champions League in his second season as a manager. And then, unfortunately, on the opposite end, in thrilling matches all around, Watford and Bournemouth joined Norwich as the relegated clubs. So Bournemouth had been in the Premier League for 6 years. I forget how long. Norwich had just come up from last season, right? And then Watford had been up for a while too. But they unfortunately will be playing in the Championship. And United and Chelsea will be playing in the Champions League again. So, yeah, again, we were talking kind of before we went live about what our original picks are. We'd have to go back and check because it was so long ago. We made our original picks back in September or October. And to be honest, I didn't check the old footage or the old episodes to see what we said. But I'm kind of surprised that United was able to finish 3rd and kind of leapfrog over Chelsea. Not surprised that Leicester City fell out of the top 4. Yeah, just initial thoughts and reactions from you guys about the way that the English season finished.
Well, I'm not surprised by Liverpool winning. They kind of just picked off where we left off and had momentum.
Nobody's surprised.
Yeah, I kind of expected a little bit more competition from the league. But I guess there's a lot of teams rebuilding, a lot of managers switching out. Initially, I didn't think Man U would make it to 3rd place. They definitely shocked a lot of people, a lot of haters, I'd say. But I give a credit to all. He kind of hit it out of the park with Bruno Fernandes. I think that was just the key for them to, on their whatever their unbeaten streak was, to just get back into champions. Chelsea was a big surprise as well, but it looked like they gained momentum halfway through. So, credit to them. And yeah, manager changes, like for Tottenham, they are kind of still relevant, but out out of the picture for the next season and champions. Wolves kind of like lost steam with the pandemic. There are a lot of teams that lost momentum, so it's kind of hard to predict that after what we went through with the loss of momentum for a lot of teams. But I'm excited to see how the top four progress into next season.
What about you, Johnny? Initial thoughts on the end of the Premier League season?
I thought it was a little, again, anticlimactic. The results we kind of thought happened. Like, I thought Leicester might have been able to upset, or like Arsenal might have dropped points and maybe Watford was saved. Aston Villa, I think they like won their last 5 games to stay saved, or like won like 10 out of 12 points with Jack Grealish. How do you say him?
Jack Grealish?
Yeah. I'm sure someone will scoop him up. I think Man U would be nice. But overall, I think it's nice to see that the big teams, like probably the 4 biggest teams right now in England, are back to the top 4. Liverpool, City, Man U, and Chelsea. So I think it's going to be a big year for them next year. It was really exciting. But yeah, I did not predict, and I don't think anybody did predict that Chelsea would make top 4 after losing Hazard, after not making signings. Credit to Lampard, who's doing the damn thing over there. And I mean, I'll give credit to Ole Gunnar because he got them in the top 4, which I guess was really the only objective they've had. They're still in Europa, sidebar. But I guess he is, like, I've been talking a lot of crap, but he is kind of installing that attacking style. I don't know how you would label it as, but I do think Man United is closer than Chelsea to really mount a title race. But that's not the question. But I was surprised at City's inconsistencies this year. I probably had them winning the title, and I did not predict Liverpool to be this good as they've been the last 3 years. Really, they kept the consistency, and it was pretty spectacular to see. There was really no race though, because they won it with 7 games, the earliest ever.
Yep.
And
Finished with 99 points.
Yeah.
The second most ever.
Yeah. And then I guess it wouldn't be a season without coaches getting sacked, right? Like, I had high expectations for Tottenham. And they still managed to squeeze past Wolves for the last Europa spot, which was kind of, I guess it was lucky for Mourinho. He got them when I think they were in like 10th or 11th place. So
14th.
Overall, 14th. Yeah, there you go. Overall, I think it was an exciting season in terms of like those positions from like 3 to 6, but I don't know. I think teams still have a ways to go to catch up to City and Liverpool, though. Go for it.
I was going to ask you guys about if you guys thought Solskjaer was making a difference, but both of you guys already answered that. Both of you guys, in your own way, said yes. But also with that, United finished with 66 points. That was good enough for 3rd place this year. Last year, they also finished with 66 points and finished 5th place. So kind of to the point that you were last saying, Johnny, is a little bit of anticlimactic. It was kind of an off season for everybody else, right? Outside of Liverpool. And like you said, you could even say Man City had an off year, right? So, I mean, I don't want to necessarily knock Manchester United and Solskjaer's achievements, but it was a really, really weird season in the Premier League. Almost as weird. Well, no, not as weird, but up there with Leicester winning the title in 2016, right? And then, obviously, Arteta and Mourinho had effects on their North London clubs as well, right? Like you said, Johnny, Mourinho came in and Spurs were at 14th. They finished 6th. So they'll be in Europa. and Arsenal finished 8th from 12th, I believe they were when Arteta came in. So I guess my question to you guys, and they're both works in progress, right? Neither team is the finished article, and I think they're both far from legitimately challenging. But who improved the most, or who do you like the most, I guess, going forward? Mourinho at Spurs or Arteta at Arsenal for next year?
I think we have to wait for the summer transfers. Arsenal apparently has a limited budget, so we'll see how they move going forward. They might get a player like, Thomas Partey that might, really boost their midfield. Who knows if Aubameyang stays? So I think it's a little too early to tell. But definitely Tottenham got a little bit of goals from a healthy Harry Kane, so that's good to see. They definitely still have a good attack with Song and, Lucas Moura. They just have to get, I guess, molded into the Mourinho template that he likes to play in, or maybe he adapts. Who knows? We'll see what Mourinho has up his sleeve. I'd say, yeah, Tottenham probably is a little bit better positioned, but we'll see what transfers Arsenal can make. And I mean, they still have a bunch of young players in Martinelli and Saka, so they're both definitely right below the top 4, so they can definitely challenge those spots all next season.
What about you, Johnny? You like either of those projects?
Not really. I mean, I think Tottenham has Harry Kane, who looked good at the end of the season, whereas Arsenal is really going to come down. Not really come down. Like, I feel like there's less expectations on them, or at least this season they didn't really have to place, and they really didn't. I think even they finished like 10th, or what did they finish?
Arsenal?
Yeah.
They finished 8th.
Oh, they did? Wow. But I don't know. I think Arsenal has more question marks than Tottenham. It seems like for Tottenham, Alderweireld's out of the picture. Vertonghen, the guy who went to China, I can't remember his name off the top, that Mourinho was kind of going back and forth with. They had just signed him or whatever in the midfield.
In Ndombele?
Yeah, it seems like Tottenham's gonna get like a whole new spine to the team, and just kind of play to Harry Kane's strengths,
Vertonghen did announce today that he's not coming back.
Yeah, you see, I'm saying that none of that defense probably is. Whereas Arsenal, I think they have good young pieces, but they definitely they're the most work to be done, I think. Especially if they don't keep Aubameyang. Yeah. He's been repping Arsenal hard the last couple of weeks, like premiering the jerseys and like single-handedly winning the games, kind of.
They gave him the young man. He's the captain.
Oh wow, who was the captain before?
I know it was Xhaka until he flipped off the fans as he walked off the field earlier this season.
Yeah,
and then he got stripped of the captaincy.
That's what I'm asking.
And I'm blanking out on who had it in between, but Aubameyang. I think it might have been actually Aubameyang right after. Yeah, since then, I've seen him wear the captain's armband there a couple. But yeah, shout out to him because he's had another brace against Watford and made a late charge for the Golden Boot again. I guess shout out to old Jamie Vardy because he's the oldest winner of the English Golden Boot, I believe. He finished with 23, Aubameyang on 22, and then Danny Ings also had 22, I believe. Danny Ings out of nowhere for Southampton. Also, quick shout out to Liverpool. 32 wins in a season ties the record that Man City set a couple seasons ago. So Liverpool,
still not 100 points though. But
still not 100 points, but 99 points is the second highest total in Premier League history. Tied the record for most wins. Tied the record for, I guess, what was it? Most wins. Most Premier League wins in a row, right?
Undefeated at Anfield for 2 seasons.
Undefeated at Anfield for 2 seasons until recently. And then
I think they were the quickest team to 30 wins.
all
in the
kinds of
season.
all kinds of records. And then on when was it? A few days ago, we awoke to the news that Jordan Henderson was the professional or the Football Writers Association Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Quite emotional about receiving the recognition. And he won the award. I think we can all agree on his leadership and just, I guess.
So he won a leadership award? Is that what you're saying?
No, but he was one of the, you can argue, most important players on the best team of the season. Ryan, friend of the show and frequent viewer, pointed out to me that Liverpool's a machine. Like they have so many like important gears or cogs. They don't really have like a single best player, which might be debatable depending on who you ask, right? But I would kind of argue that it's one of the reasons why they work so well is because everybody plays well, right? They have a team that's pretty stacked.
I still don't think they hit an elite level though. I think Ryan said, those are nice records, but trebles are nicer. Yeah, they definitely underachieved in champions. They underachieved in all the cups. Like they had the squad to win all that, and they didn't.
Well, they won a Champions League last season, and I think always, like we've been saying jokingly, but
they had the team to win a treble. Why didn't they go for that?
You can go win your domestic trebles, whatever you want. Pep hasn't won no champs. What are you talking about? Playing beautiful football. It's about results, bro. Get out of here with this crap.
Well,
I swear.
It's been for a while at Liverpool. It's been the league or bust. I think you ask any Liverpool fan, and they're happy. They wouldn't mind not winning a treble for finally winning the Premier League and Premier League / first English title since we were born. The last time they won it was 1990. That was the year that you and I were born in, Andres. That's crazy. That's our entire lifetime that Liverpool hasn't won a championship. So I think.
I saw a lot of Liverpool games too, and a lot of them came down to the last minute goals. Some, Sadio Mane coming out, with some headers or Origi. So I mean, they weren't like dominant performances. They were dominant, I guess, with their nickname, the Inevitables, because the win was inevitable, but it was very risky and high risk playing style.
I think you're forgetting about the fact that for maybe almost 20 matches, we were talking about them running the table and going undefeated, right? It wasn't until Watford 3-0 that was ruled out, right? But they were undefeated for a long time. We hadn't been. I think Man City had a nice stretch in one of their 2 championship winning seasons recently, but
I still don't put them with teams like the Barças and the Bayerns who won trebles. Like even though they didn't win those competitions, I don't put them on that level, elite level, because like you said, the league was weakened all year. So I
think they still would have won it with a little bit more competition from the teams, but and I think because of what we said, they just had the consistency. City didn't, obviously all the other teams didn't, and just for the longest we were like, how the hell is Liverpool doing this? How is nobody hurt? How are Alexander-Arnold and Robertson starting every game? Both of them had an assist in the last match again, by the way. Madness, and they went down early too. They went down in the first minute to Newcastle and came back and won 3. I mean, you would expect them to come back against Newcastle, right? So I won't give them too much credit for that, but 99 points.
So they're gonna run out of steam this year? Is that what you think, or do you think next season they're gonna, get back on the
I think this is where things get interesting because technically Minamino is like a new signing. He hasn't really played since he's been there, and especially this last match, he looked really good. That he got to start. I think I don't know. They skipped on Werner because they said there wasn't any money, but also today. Since Johnny brought up the Vertonghen leaving and him actually confirming today that he's leaving, we know that Lovren is leaving Liverpool. So I read that Liverpool is actually Lovren is now signed permanently with Zenit St. Petersburg in the Russian league. So I think Liverpool will actually probably be in the market for a center back potentially.
Sold probably not 12 mil.
Yeah,
12 months.
yeah, 12 mil to Zenit. So they're probably not going to get a Koulibaly or something like that, but they'll probably be in the market for a defender, maybe an alternative to Robertson, because outside of him, they've had Milner play left back when he's out or when he needs a rest, right? And he's not. Bless Milner, right? One of the most consistent footballers ever, but he's not a left back, or he doesn't offer the same going forward that Robertson does. So I will say that you're right. The Premier League wasn't as I don't want to use the word competitive either, but it was an off year for a lot of big clubs. But also, I think because it's been so long and because COVID was so long, the COVID break, I think you're flat out forgetting and we take for granted how dominant they were to start the season, right? And for the longest, it looked like they could win the treble. And I remember in December they played a bunch of kids that even won in one of the cups, the FA Cup, right? They played the kids and then they still won and made it on to the next round. It almost looked, like you said, inevitable that they were going to run the table. Eventually, they had some injuries. Henderson was out. They had the off match against Watford. Atletico with fucking Llorente. Some guy named Llorente that was repurposed as a striker scored 2 goals against them in extra time at Anfield. Ridiculous. That's a magical European night, right? So, again, I don't want to say, I maybe wouldn't put them up there, but the Liverpool of the last 3 seasons has definitely been really impressive, right? Maybe not the brand of tiki-taka or Pep passing or whatever, right? Because even Mourinho's trouble wasn't pretty, right? But it was a trouble nonetheless.
I think that next season is going to define Klopp as a manager, whether he can hit that, Sir Alex Ferguson and, create a dynasty. He has the players. They're young. They're cheap. They're on low contracts, low-paying contracts. If they can, if they can get players to keep that momentum going, sure, yeah, you can say, Liverpool is in the middle of an era, but I don't know. I think they didn't get any signings. I think that's gonna haunt them for next season. And I personally don't think they're gonna win the league next season. So
I rambled on a little bit, and what I originally meant to also mention was that historically, Klopp teams tend to get tired or run out of steam in his 6th or 7th season. We saw it at Dortmund; like they got really tired and they just couldn't replicate the form anymore. But he's got younger players here. I think he's got the best group of players, and he said this, that he's ever worked with. He's had some good teams at Dortmund, but I would agree. I wouldn't worry about Arnold or Robertson. I definitely would find replacements for Robertson. It seems like they've got a replacement there from the academy. Nico Williams. He's been getting a couple games. He's been playing recently. But I don't know. Lovren's gone. We could see maybe another midfielder leave. Who knows? Maybe we're ruling out refreshment.
I think this guy's crazy because you can argue that Man City, when they won the title 2 years ago, there wasn't really any competition either, and I can guarantee you this, that not even me, none of us picked Liverpool as good as that. I really didn't think they win the title, and it really goes to show you how much of an effort that was. And partly that is due to City and the high expectations they kind of mounted for a team to win the Premier League. Like now, a team, if they're gonna win the Premier League, it's gonna have to be like 90 points plus. And yeah, fitness was what came to question from Andres, where he was like, they're gonna run out of steam, and I'll stick by it. This is probably the fittest team I've ever seen, top to bottom. And you can't tell me that Liverpool does not have at least 5 of the top fucking 10 best players in the world right now. I don't think a lot of the Barca players would get in this Liverpool squad.
okay,
I think
that
only
midfield,
City,
bro.
yeah.
Wijnaldum has not had an assist in 2 seasons. 2 full
You're not
seasons.
understanding the point of what the midfield does. Are you like blind? I don't understand what's
Klopp's,
going on.
and specifically in Klopp's
It
system.
works for Klopp, but
Fabinho
world-class skill and talent.
What are you talking about? now they're world class. This team was not.
Henderson is not world class. He's a good player in a good squad, in a very good squad, but he's not Kevin De Bruyne. You know, he's not. I don't think Henderson should have won. I think.
Well, look at Man City. They had way better midfielders then, and they did nothing this season.
What do you mean that? You can school. They had a very potent offense. It's just their
who's world class in Man City's
even
midfield this year.
13
besides
goals
De Bruyne.
13 goals and 20 assists from Kevin De Bruyne got them an 18-point deficit from the first place.
It's called learning to defend.
Or having defenders, right? But
yeah, City should have known that losing Kompany and not getting a center back would haunt them, but they didn't do anything about it.
They lost Silva this year.
I guess Silva. Kind of tying in, a shout out to Ryan on the live stream chat. He said that last year's Liverpool was leaps and bounds better than this year's Liverpool.
I would agree.
To Andres' point. So I mean, I can kind of see and recognize the point that you guys are bringing up there, respectively. I also recognize that both you and Ryan have an extreme anti-Liverpool bias. No, but I mean, 5 of the top 10 players too. I mean,
I think Mane is world class. Salah is world class. Firmino is world class. Van Dijk is world class. Robertson is world class. Trent Alexander-Arnold. Yeah, that's so. Arnold is like a generational talent at right back.
He's the best English right back they've had in a long time.
And he's like 21.
Yeah. Van Dijk is easily in the top 5 players of the world right now, and that's saying a lot considering he's a defender. Salah and Mane have both been in the conversation in and out in that top 5, even in Ballon d'Or conversations, right? As well as Van Dijk. And Alisson, too, is the reason why he's, I think, still the most expensive. No, second most expensive, because then they bought Kepa, right? And look at how that's turned out. He was sitting from the stands as Chelsea beat Wolves. But, no, yeah, I think... Again, it's a little bit of both. I think Liverpool was so consistent while everybody else maintained no consistency, right? Or people found consistency too late. United started to find some consistency when the gap was major, when they were closer to the relegation zone than they were to the top 2, which again is a quick shout out and recognition of the work that Solskjaer did and the influence that Fernandes had. And the way that
Solskjaer had a midfield of Fred, Matic, and Pereira for most of the season. He lost all his attackers at one point. How the hell did he get top 3? That's amazing what he did, To hit the ballpark with Bruno, get Pogba back, like, come on.
Speaking of Pereira, did you guys see that? I think he's the one who came out this week and said he didn't like Van Dijk because he thought he was arrogant or something like that.
Salty as hell.
Yeah, Van Dijk is the best center back in the world, bro. Are you kidding me? Because he makes it look easy. He's arrogant. I don't know about that.
If Ryan's hurt, I'll tell him top 25 players then. But what was I gonna say? No, I don't know. I forgot. But yeah, this guy he said Milner and Van Dijk were not. He said Milner was like a douchebag and Van Dijk was arrogant. But that's what happens when you're the champs, baby.
Yeah, Klopp won Manager of the Year. Well, we were talking about all these awards
today.
Yeah, credit to Liverpool.
I think, man, you should have 6 points less, and I'll stick by that with some lucky calls during the season.
Most penalties
Most
penalties in the Premier League this season.
Or whatever. They got the job done, I guess. They finished above Chelsea.
Yeah, a lot of, and then like we were also discussing earlier today, the Premier League returns September 12th, which sounds like it's far away, but it really isn't. So quick turnaround there. So the next week, this weekend, we get the FA Cup final between Arsenal and Chelsea. Then a couple weeks off before the Champions League resumes, and then slowly but surely, European football returns. We start a new season. Again, it all seems so strange because of COVID and the pandemic and the fact that everybody was forced off for 3 months. But also continuing in the trend of anticlimactic. I guess the Premier League wasn't anticlimactic. All the other leagues were. We knew Real Madrid was going to win. We knew Bayern Munich was going to win. And then after a while, it was evident that Juventus was going to win their 9th straight. You heard me right. 9th straight title. This is why it irks me when people say that Cristiano Ronaldo went to go challenge himself in a different league. You don't challenge yourself by joining a team that's already won 7 titles in a row before you've joined there. Get out of here with that shit. But that's neither here nor there. Juventus win their 9th straight, 36 Scudetto overall, and they won it with 2 matches remaining. Italy, it finally looked like was really competitive. It was one of those leagues where Juventus for the last couple of years finished with at least a 10 to 12 point advantage, right? So for a while, it looked like Lazio and Inter were really going to push Juve, and then they both just fell off quick. So again, major props to Juventus, I guess, as an institution, because to maintain that kind of streak is crazy. When we were younger, Lyon won 7 in a row from 2002 to 2008, I think, which was unprecedented. Bayern Munich is in the midst of a run of 8 consecutive Bundesliga titles, and Juve's won 9. La Liga has been won by either Madrid or Barca for 15 of the last 16 years. I mean, clearly the Premier League remains the best and the most competitive, but what does this say about the state of the Italian league, that Juve won again? Not just won again, but I think we can all agree that they won not being at their best. Ronaldo was critical. Dybala was probably their best player still, though, I would say. Props to Ronaldo. He's on 32 goals? No, 31. And even at 31, he's still not the high scorer in Italy. Immobile is on 34. And is probably going to finish his European. Might challenge Lewandowski for that European Golden Boot there, too. But the fact that all these teams fell off at the end, is anybody going to push Juve for a while? And then you guys can also kind of answer in any of the other leagues, is anybody else really going to push them? Is just the trend outside of the Premier League? What do you guys think? Go ahead, Johnny.
I think contrary to what you're saying, all the leagues were competitive up to the restart, and because the Bundesliga had like 4 or 5 teams that were promising, and then Italy was the same thing, and the only league that was really wrapped up was France, because they just gave it to PSG and Liverpool, who was just miles ahead. So then it turned out to, like, I think it didn't benefit the other teams in terms of depth, that they were playing every 3 to 4 days, and that kind of weaned out a little bit of the it just highlighted the depth that teams don't have when they're not Bayern or they're not Juventus, and they have 2-3 guys ready to go at every position. And I think that's honestly what it was. I think it would have been a different story had there been 1 week between every game played for the leagues. Because I think they were competitive throughout. In Italy, it was shaping up to be pretty decent. And in Germany too, but I think overall the restart and having so many games in a smaller amount of time kind of left a lot of those teams with a little bit less gas in the tank.
You have been consistently voicing that concern, and you've also been critical of the 5 sub rule, right? Because, like you said, it favors teams like Juve, who've got 3 ready to roll at every position. So I'll give you props for being consistent on that one. What do you think, Andres?
I mean, Juve probably had one of the deepest team in Serie A.
Let me cut you off because you said Inter was going to push them too.
I did. Yeah. And
it's not a diss either, because it did look like they were.
For a while, they were getting a lot of goals from Lukaku and Martinez, Lautaro. The restart and the addition of new players kind of threw them off. I don't know, chemistry-wise, maybe Conte wasn't, really doing getting his message across towards the end or towards the middle where they started losing big games. I think they had a team to push, but they, like I said, they lost the big games against Juve, against Lazio. The ones that they should have won to really compete. But to be fair, the Italian league is, I'd say, in the last 2 years, probably just starting to pick back up with all the big teams. Milan hasn't lost in a very long time. AC Milan, so they've been playing well as of late. They should probably continue into the next season.
Yep, and they're going to keep their manager. They're going to keep Pioli.
Yeah, they're going to keep Pioli after the whole manager fiasco with Ragnick, I think his name was.
Yeah.
And yeah, Inter, I mean, they're probably going to keep Sanchez, who finally feels like he wants to play, footy again. So that's good to see. We'll see. We'll see how Lazio perform because they're going to be in Champions, so they might want to add more players as well. Yeah, there's just a lot of teams that are barely, pushing, and I think maybe next season they can push Juve, but I think Juve being Juve, they're gonna try to forward a lot of talent again or completely revamp the squad. So we'll see what moves they do over the summer.
They already got Arthur coming.
Yeah, Arthur doesn't want to play for Barca anymore, so he's ready to roll for Juve.
They've been linked with, Arthur's in Brazil, and he told Barca he's not going to play with them in the Champions League anymore.
Napoli signed Osimhen from Leo, I think, for 50
When
mil.
you texted that and I said who, I wasn't trying to be an asshole. I legitimately don't know who that is. So when you said they sold him for 80 million, I was flabbergasted.
Yeah, so I mean, these teams are pushing. They're all trying to get a little bit of competition going with Juve, and I think, Juve just has to figure it out next season with their midfield. See who comes, who stays, who goes, and maybe pair someone up top with CR7 Dybala. See what happens there. But moving forward, the Italian is barely, becoming that EPL type where 5-6 teams are fighting for like that competition spot. So we'll see what happens.
Juve is one of those teams that demands success all the time. There's like whispers of Sarri maybe even getting replaced despite winning. Does he need to win the Champions League? I think that, I almost kind of feel silly asking that because we know that that's what Juve wants the most. That's their like biggest desire, right? Is a Champions League crown. But does he need to win the Champions League to be considered a success? Because I think to be considered a success, for CR7 to be considered a success, they need to win a Champions League. Because I think with or without him, they would have won the 8th and the 9th Scudetto, no doubt. I mean, he contributed last year. This year, he's been massive.
I don't think they would have won it without CR7 this year.
I think so. So.
Who else would have been there? Mandzukic in his position? I mean, I don't know. Higuain wasn't going to
play the Higuain, Dybala up top. They had options. They had, maybe, man, I forgot Mandzukic is just out in the cold, right? Getting no games whatsoever.
They didn't put him in the Champions League squad, and he said, all right. Emery Khan left, Chan left.
That's a decent point, but I think they would have maybe not got as much production, but they could have done it without him in the Italian league, right? Because, Immobile and what's his name, Luis Felipe, Milinkovic, Savic. There's a couple of nice little players there at Lazio, right? But they were kind of like I guess you can almost say Cinderella, right? Atalanta made this last recent charge where now I think maybe they've lost one or two, or no, but they've been undefeated. They made a nice run, one of the best runs in Europe, towards the end of the tournament too. So, I think overall I kind of have to agree with Johnny a little bit on that. Juve is just built for depth, and even again, I'm still not convinced they're playing their best. They have the capacity and the talent to really just bowl people over, and they're just getting by in some of these matches.
Yeah, I think Sarri kind of needed a league win in a way, but his Napoli's teams were playing excellent football. They just, they probably didn't have enough to compete in Champions, but they were playing spectacular under him. And then he won Europa with Chelsea, He just won a league with Juve. I mean, he should be in the conversation for being a top coach already. Even though a lot of people try to knock him off his perch, saying sorry ball. What's sorry ball? It's not doing anything. I mean, he doesn't have his players, but look, he has success. I don't think sorry is necessarily the problem. I think it's just kind of a mismatch in midfield. You have players like Rabiot who have gotten better. You have players like Dybala who found form. I mean, those are signs of a good coach, somewhat in a way, or maybe just talent as well. But it also takes a good coach to put players in the right position. Just ask, Setien, who doesn't. You know,
There's 2 matches left. Who finishes second? Because right now Inter's up 1 point on Atalanta, and yeah, it's an interesting scenario right there. Who do you guys got finishing second?
I don't know. I haven't seen what their schedule looks like.
This weekend,
I'm pretty sure those 4 teams on the top are probably the ones who are going to stay on the top. Does it really matter who stays second?
There's some interesting matchups, most of which we're going to pick, but just so that you're aware, I think tomorrow or Wednesday, later this week, Inter plays Napoli. So that's a big one. That's one of their last 2 remaining matches. And then on the last day, Atalanta plays Inter. That could be huge, determining the second place spot. Because, again, Inter's only up 1 point on Lazio and Atalanta right now. And then Napoli plays Lazio on the final match day in Serie A. I mean, Juve is already the champion, but again, some intriguing matchups. And again, it's actually, now that I look at it and now that I'm thinking about it, it's setting up to be a thrilling championship Sunday, as the English call it, in Italy as well. There's going to be a lot to play for, despite the fact that there's a champion. I guess similar question for you, John. I didn't let you answer, or I guess I didn't lead either of you answer. Who do you have finishing second, Andres? Inter? You don't know?
Well, real quick to recap, Inter, Atalanta, and Lazio are only separated by 1 point, with Inter Milan on 76 and Atalanta and Lazio on 75.
Yep. 1 point.
So it's anyone's game. Yeah, it's anyone's to take. I think I want to say Atalanta, but I think Lazio has been, I don't know. I think Atalanta and Lazio have been playing great revelations, and I think the Italian league has really stepped up their game this year and is kind of starting to really turn into a good league. I think CR7 going over there gave them a lot of global appeal and made people want to tune in to the Italian league. Conte is coaching Inter, and he's a world-class coach. Like he knows how to get stuff done. Atalanta is playing good football, and now everything's stuff's kind of turning their way, as we'll kind of talk about later with PSG. And Lazio has the highest scoring player in Italy, and in all the leagues with Immobile. So it's anyone's to take, really. And all those teams should have pretty much the same team next year, if not better teams, especially Inter.
So who do you got? You said it's up for grabs? Too close to call?
Yeah, I said it's up for grabs. It's too close to call, but I could see any of them finishing second. And it kind of doesn't matter, nah? As long as they get champs.
Yep.
And then fifth place is kind of like, it's like 10 points off. So
yeah, so they're safe. It's safe. It's just a matter of positioning now. I guess since you brought him up, Immobile, who finishes the Golden Boot there? Immobile or Ronaldo? Can Ronaldo catch him in the last 2 matches, or you think they're going to sit him?
I think they'll probably rest them a little bit. I think Immobile wrapped it up with that hat trick against Hellas Verona.
You agree, Andres? Immobile is the capocannoniere there in Italy.
Yeah, I mean, maybe CR7. I mean, we've been calling a CR7 hat trick all season, and we haven't. I don't think we had one. Have we had a CR7 hat trick? I think maybe once.
I think we have.
Yeah, I think he scored his first hat trick in Italy this season. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't doubted that he hits 3 towards the end. Maybe his team, just feed Ronaldo all day and he scores. But I think it's Mobile's title to lose at this point. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Does he catch Lewandowski?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think Lewandowski effectively won that Golden Boot, deservedly too.
Yeah, right. Since he can't get the Ballon d'Or, and then I guess the last thing I want to mention there in Italy, we talked a lot about how it's starting to come up again, and how there's a little bit more competition, and how some big teams are starting to regain some of their former glory. Inter, right? And Andres talked about what Conte was able to do there this season. Lukaku and Sanchez, 2 players who looked hopeless at United. Lukaku scored over 20. He had a brace this weekend, is now, I believe, on 23 for the season. And Alexis Sanchez is, I think, 3rd most involvements in Europe since the restart. At least something like 7 assists and a handful of goals, right? Since he came back. So both players looking really, really good. What do you guys make of that? Is it just a matter of them not being a good fit at United? Was it Mourinho? Did Alexis just need a rest? I think personally, Alexis Sanchez is just, and I've told you guys this, was exhausted. I played so many tournaments with Chile and with, Arsenal and United or whatever it may be. He just was broken, right? And just needed to rest. Plus he's like over 30, right? So he's just not the same player he used to be as far as endurance and versatility. And Lukaku, I never really had anything against Lukaku, but I think he's proven a lot of doubters wrong this season. So I guess props to Conte. Do you guys think, I guess we'll see their sophomore season, right? Just to really see if it's a flash in the pan. We'll see if Alexis sticks around, but I think in both cases, it was pretty impressive what they've been able to do. Lukaku all season and Alexis recently, because he was hurt for a while too. But I guess it's good to see them both bounce back. And I guess startling to see whatever went wrong at United and with Mourinho there, huh?
Yeah, just a change of environment is good for these players.
I don't think Lukaku was ever that bad, even at United. I think it was a matter of service and a matter of kind of motivation with the whole Mourinho and whatever United unsettling saga. And then with Alexis Sanchez, I think he just had a new, I think since the restart, it's essentially a new season, bro. So it was hard to determine form and everything, because everything is kind of new. And I think it was just a lot of random players have been playing really good since the restart. Not random, but a lot of players that weren't before it, the Valencia guy, or what's his name from in the Premier League, Mikel Valencia or something, or what's his name, Antonio.
From what team?
He has the most. He has he was with Aston, or no, with here, let me look him up.
West Ham.
I want to say maybe with the Hammers. He has the most goals, I think, since the restart in England. I'll look him up, but I think it was a new season after the restart.
Mikel Antonio?
Yeah, Mikel Antonio.
Random.
Players but he has the most goals since the restart. I think he 10 or 12.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, same how Alexis Sanchez is there again, But yeah, that was it. That's why I had to say.
Yeah, new season. Yeah, and Alexis Sanchez was injured for the longest time too, so it's good to have an extended break and get all the ailments out of your system. Too bad you can't say that about Barca players, right, Frankie? All Frenchmen are injured right now.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, freaking Dembele, 9 major injuries since joining, but that's neither here nor there. I guess kind of to finalize our trip around Europe for this episode. PSG played Saint Etienne in the French League Cup, right? Or the French Cup, because there's the League Cup there too, and there's a French Cup. Can't remember. One of the
Coupe
two
de
cups.
France. Coupe de France.
It was a Coupe de France. Okay, so the French Cup. PSG eventually won 1-0. But the most important thing to note of this match was that Loic Perrin, the center back and captain of Saint Etienne, came at Kylian Mbappe with just a ridiculously dirty tackle, a butcher's tackle, a Sergio Ramos tackle, if you will. And he caught Mbappe's ankle, and we were told initially that it was an ankle sprain and that he would be back soon, but it's now been confirmed that he'll probably miss the match against Atalanta in the Champions League. What do you guys make of this? Does this hurt PSG's chances to get past Atalanta right now?
Yes.
Despite the fact that they have Neymar and Icardi.
Mbappe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, PSG needed Neymar. They needed Mbappe to win them champions. That's the whole project. It's been going on for 3 seasons, and they haven't been able to do it. It's just not meant to be, apparently. Luckily for them, they have Di Maria, who quietly has a very good season. They have Icardi. They have Neymar. So with those 3, I think that might be enough to get past Atalanta. But Mbappe is, top 5 player in the world.
He was weeping as he left the field and was later seen in crutches.
Yeah, he wants to be the superstar that takes him to UCL glory, and I'm pretty sure as soon as he got injured, he thought about Champions League. So that's a devastating loss for them. Hopefully he comes back and they can get past Atalanta, but I think he's gonna be a major loss for them.
You agree, Johnny?
I think you could argue what Andres said. He's the one that really wants to lead the team because Neymar's shown that, I guess not for not wanting it, but he gets injured at the wrong time. But I think if you ask a lot of people, they'd say Mbappe kind of stole the show at PSG after he broke out on the scene, won the World Cup, went far with Monaco. I think he's a little bit more of a determined player, but that adds all the pressure now on Neymar to really show out and really carry the team by himself now without having Mbappe there, who's, how you said, he's like top 5 players. So it's like when you lose that, it's always going to hurt your team. But I don't think the injury was that bad. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe because I didn't feel it. But I think he might be back for that game, and they use him as a sub if they start losing. But I don't think he'll start. But I think he might play if they need him, or if it's like, if he feels at least like, I don't know, 75%, Because I think initially they said 2 weeks, and now they kind of upped it to 3 weeks, which would be right like when the game starts, right?
Yeah.
So I can still see him play that game.
Too soon to tell that.
Yeah, I honestly didn't. I thought the tackle was bad. I don't know that I don't even know if it was a red card, to be honest. I've seen worse.
They also, I think more than anything, it's because it was from behind, and that's the definite no-no. I think what's also working against him here is that Atalanta's been playing competitively for a month now. Yeah. And they've been playing friendlies against League 2 clubs that they've been rocking 9-0. So I don't know.
I think also if they get past Atalanta, they definitely a Neymar or a Mbappe type player to get past, Atletico Madrid, assuming they get past RB. So yeah, it's a huge loss for them, even moving forward past Atalanta, if he can't be 100%.
Well, yeah. Now that becomes the focus, right? Champions League for teams like PSG, teams like Atalanta, Bayern Munich.
And then the other thing is, I mean, Neymar should be well rested. So like, no, like I know that I'm not the biggest PSG fan. I do like them, but it's like, I don't think this is an excuse of why they should lose or why they're gonna lose to Atalanta. If anything, it's kind of like we're kind of making it for them, but I think it's still the same expectation with or without Mbappe, because how you mentioned that team is riddled with superstars like Cavani, Di Maria, Verratti.
Oh yeah, Cavani.
Yeah, I mean Icardi. They have Draxler, for God's sake, on the bench. Sarabia.
Verratti.
So I still think that I still think it's the same expectation. But now I think it really means the pressure's on Neymar to deliver. So we'll see how he does.
Well, yeah, the focus is quickly turning to Champions League, right? Because everything is winding down. We still have the FA Cup final this Saturday. Serie A wraps up on Sunday, and then again, it's all about the Champions League. And we'll be back to kind of give you our Champions League picks and predictions and talk a very unique and special version of the Champions League knockout stages, right? Because there's single elimination. We're used to the two-legged affairs because of COVID and the time constraints. They're only going to be single match knockouts, proceeding all the way to the final. Hosted in Portugal, right, in Lisbon. So exciting there. Some giving teams with the slimmest possibilities of win, right? The outside teams a slightly more, I guess, not balanced, but another way of getting in and sneaking in a Champions League, which hasn't happened, I think, since Porto, right? Porto won it in 05, 04, right? The year before Liverpool won it in Istanbul. And that's the last time we had like a small or not one of the super clubs win it, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Chelsea won it for the first time in 2013. Or 2011.
But by that point, they had been, owned by a Russian billionaire for 10 years, So they had announced Chelsea announced themselves by winning back-to-back Premier Leagues with Mourinho, So I think that's really.
What is it? Last 8 out of 10 have been won by Barca or Madrid, something like that, or last 7 out of 10.
The Champions League. Yeah. Madrid. We can't forget 4 out of 5. Barca won the one that wasn't that. Barca won the one that would have made it 5 for Madrid that year if they would have made it back to the final. So yeah, that's 5 of them at least, and then Liverpool won a 6th one. Who am I missing? Was it Bayern? No.
Yeah, Bayern won it.
2013.
When they beat Dortmund.
Yeah. Yeah, Bayern.
And then Chelsea was the year before or whatever.
So yeah, we'll come at you guys with some more Champions League stuff in the near future. Now we skip back across the pond, back in our neck of the woods in North America. I was excited this last weekend, saw the return of Liga MX. And my team, Cruz Azul, started with a W, 2-0 victory over Santos. To be fair, Santos went a man down thanks to VAR. Well, it was a pretty dirty play, and the red card was given. But Cruz Azul starts with a W. Chivas tied León, which, on paper was a really good matchup. Did you watch it, Johnny?
No, I didn't, but it was on Telemundo.
It was on Telemundo, and it finished 0-0, so a drab affair there in two teams who have been pretty good and consistently big in Mexico in recent history. I called the Chivas tie. Our boy Cortez put in a parlay. He put Chivas winning, and I told him, bro, you're making a mistake there. Just wanted to quickly point that out. Tijuana beat Atlas 3-1 in what was a really good match, despite what sounds like a lopsided match. It was really, really good first half, and then Tijuana started to pull away at the end. But Atlas put up a good fight in that match. Tigres won on Friday, premiering their ugly new shirts. Have you guys seen those new Tigres shirts?
Yeah, I did.
I think usually I appreciate their Adidas kits, but this one is retro, vintage, but gone wrong. Gone terribly, terribly wrong. As it is.
The Chivas one is pretty nice. The new one?
The new Puma Chivas jerseys are nice, yeah. And then right now, as we're speaking, America's playing Pachuca, so one of the other big two is currently playing, and matches are being played throughout the week. So I can't really the schedule is a little spotty, but definitely.
They're up 1-0, America,
Pachuca, damn, definitely not what I want to hear. Definitely not what I want to hear. But I think Cortez's parlay will be all right then. Yeah, keep an eye out on Liga MX now that it's back. Week 1, there's plenty more action. It'll be interesting to see what Mazatlan does, the new club. For those who forgot, Morelia at the end of the last tournament was moved from Morelia to Mazatlan, Sinaloa. And they played their first match this past weekend. I believe it was a loss, right? Or they played Puebla. Can't remember off the top of my head anymore. No, they definitely lost. Mazatlan.
Oh, let me look it up. I don't think they played, maybe, or there was a team left to play. Real quick. I don't think they played.
Damn, I'm wrong. I thought
they played Puebla, I think.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I just didn't know if it happened already.
Let me double check again.
Definitely not a match I had my eye on, other than the interesting tidbit that it
was. Oh
no,
they played today, bro, at 10.
Oh, they play after that. Okay, so we're gonna be able to watch it possibly after this. Also on after this, the MLS is back tournament is into the round of 16, with some teams already qualified for the quarterfinals. Tonight is an intriguing matchup: Seattle versus LAFC. A lot of people are saying that the winner of this match is going to go on to take it. A clash of West Coast powers there. So,
real quick, just a side note: the Liga MX started off right. First set of games.
Yeah.
The first round. There's been 7 red cards. And 3 of the games have both teams with a red card.
I missed that fact. I mean, I knew that there was one in the Santos Cruz Azul. Obviously, because
one on each team. One on each side for that game.
Oh yeah, crazy.
Yeah, Atlas got a red card, and then Pumas, Querétaro both got reds, and Pachuca, America are both on reds right now.
Both on reds. Wow. I know. Shout out to Pumas too. They won. And there's a couple of matches that still need to be played. But yeah, thanks for that fact. I completely missed that. That's quite a few. So then it was at 5, and then 2 more right now in Pachuca.
Yeah. And there's still 2 games left to play.
Wow.
So Liga MX is about to be as crazy as ever.
Just raining red cards.
Yeah, apparently guys are ready to let it all on the field. So
Juarez, right? I think FC Juarez still has to play.
Yeah, tomorrow.
I might be wrong about that. But yeah, keep an eye out on Liga MX now. We can watch it on Telemundo. You can watch it on Univision and Unimas. TUDN if you have that as well.
Juarez actually played, bro. I'm sorry.
Oh, my fault.
They tied Atlético San Luis 1-1. And tomorrow the game, pretty good game. If anybody wants to watch it, it's Monterrey Toluca at 7.
That's who I was missing. Yep. Monterrey with the sick anniversary kits that they're rocking this year.
I haven't seen it.
And yeah, right after we're done, MLS. If this is, I think, the match to watch. We've had a lot of funky action in the MLS so far, and some of the big teams that you expect to be there aren't there. The Galaxy are out. Atlanta's out. Columbus has been looking really good. Columbus came through the group stage clean. They won all 3 of their matches and didn't concede any goals. The Fire, of course, crashed out. Disappointment. I think the last couple seasons, the name Fire has been apt because they've been a straight dumpster fire. I'm not super mad about it right now because everything about the Fire is new, not just the logo and the uniform. They have a new coach, new GM, 17 new players. It's a brand spanking new team. So I'm going to just hold on to hope a little bit longer and wait to pass judgment when regular season play returns. MLS has already released a preliminary plan to resume regular season play at the end of August, start of September. So we might be able to see some more American football that's not this funky tournament. But yeah, if you guys are going to watch one right after we're done on FS1 tonight, Seattle versus LAFC, because my pick to win this tournament is coming out of that match. As we were starting the show, San Jose was tied 1-1 with Real Salt Lake in the other matchup today. So we'll keep you posted on that action as it develops. Again, these MLS teams are noticeably rusty, but some of them have been fairly entertaining. And now that they're in the knockouts, I believe there's no more morning matches. The morning matches were such a terrible idea. I don't know who thought it was a great idea to play at 8 a.m. in the morning in the Orlando sun. Like, it was just bad, and you could see the standard of play in those games was so poor. And the Fire played 2 of them. Again, I don't want to justify the Fire's poor performance, but they played in 2 of those. So be on the lookout for the knockout rounds of MLS, as well as the next round of matches for Liga MX. And now we proceed to the final part of every one of our shows, our weekly picks for, I guess, the biggest matchups for the week. This week, I only picked 5 instead of our usual 6 because everything is pretty much wound down. Serie A is the only other thing going on, and we have the FA Cup final this weekend. So we'll start with Serie A, where we have some really intriguing matchups to close out and then determine the 2 through 4th spots there. On the 28th, that is Wednesday at 2:45 on ESPN Plus. Inter plays Napoli. Who do you guys got?
I got it. I got Inter.
You've picked Inter the last 2 weeks, as have I, and they fucked us over both times. So 3rd time's a charm, right?
Yeah. And I think the Napoli coach Gattuso is gonna make 8 changes to the squad against Inter. So I think that's just gonna throw him off a little bit.
Does that mean Chucky's getting a game?
He might.
Yeah, where'd you hear that?
The Italian daily newspaper Corriere dello Sport.
Corriere dello Sport. All right, with the reputable sources. What about you, Johnny? Who you got?
No wonder winning picks 2 weeks in a row over here.
You gotta have the sources.
I'll take
will
Napoli.
Be unavailable. You know.
Take Napoli.
All right, I'm gonna go with the Inter is due for a win. I picked them, like I said, twice the last 2 weeks, and they bit me in the ass. This time they got to come good. Sticking with Inter because they finish the season on Sunday. Everybody plays on Sunday in Italy in the final match, and they play Atalanta in what will be a crucial matchup to determine 2nd place there. Who do you guys got, Inter or Atalanta?
I got Atalanta in that one.
I'll take Inter.
I'm going to go Atalanta for that one, too. Not to
it's interesting, though, because both teams are in European competition still, so I don't know how much stock goes into that game. Atalanta might want it as a tune-up, for, a big team like PSG. Maybe not. Inter could probably rest. Who knows? I don't know what their objectives are, but I think Atalanta might want to, show that they are capable of winning against big teams.
All right, moving on. Napoli versus Lazio. Another big one. Napoli isn't going to get into the Champions League spots, but Lazio.
These are all pretty even games, but it's like how you said, the circumstances, and
I'm gonna go for a draw here.
I'm gonna go Lazio. I think Immobile finishes even hotter. Let's not forget the record for most goals in a season in Serie A is 36, set by Higuain not too long ago. I don't know if Immobile gets to 36, but he's awfully close. He's at 34, so I think I'm going to definitely keep an eye on that. And let's not forget, too, that I believe 15 of his goals this season have been penalties. So I've unfairly been calling Cristiano Ronaldo the penalty king, although he's had a really good amount of penalties as well. Immobile has got 15. And he's made every single one of them, though. That's crazy. Props to both of them for being good penalty takers. And then finally, this match, I guess, is the most lopsided, but it's a matchup of historic clubs and one where it might be interesting because, again, Ronaldo might be chasing that golden boot in Italy and Europe. Juve plays Roma. Who do you guys got?
Come on, bro. It's going to be Juve all day. CR7's going for the golden boot. He has to score.
What about you, Johnny? You concur? Juve? They've got nothing to play for now.
I think we lost them for a little second here.
Yeah, my phone's severely overheating. Sorry.
No, you're back, though. You got Juve or Roma? Or the draw?
It's CR7 hat trick, bro. Come on.
Yeah, there you go.
He said that so dryly. Man, I don't know. I don't know if Juve takes the foot off the gas. I don't know who's going to play or what at that point. So I'm going to go with the draw. I want to say Roma wants to finish motivated. And they've been playing fairly well lately. It's another big club there that wants to finish with a statement. And then finally, on Saturday at 12:30 p.m., also on ESPN Plus. I didn't give any times for the matches on Sunday in Serie A because they were all to be determined, but they'll all be on ESPN Plus as well. All the action that we have this weekend is on ESPN Plus. The last one on Saturday, once again at 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, Arsenal versus Chelsea for the FA Cup. Who you guys got? I'll start for this one. I'm going Arsenal. Chelsea's already in the Champions League. They can't qualify for Europa by winning the FA Cup. They've had a great season. I mean, obviously this would be a nice little cherry on top for them, but Arsenal missed Europa. Arsenal missed the Champions League. They need something out of this season. Mustafi's not going to play that much, I know, so I can only take that as a plus because he sucks. So I'm going to go Arsenal. Mustafi does suck.
I'm going to go Arsenal. Historically, I think they have a lot of FA Cup wins, if not the most.
Recently, they've had a lot recently.
Recent ones, yeah, and I think they want to prove a point that they're going in the right direction. So they beat City, they can beat Chelsea.
And last but not least, Johnny, who you got?
I'm definitely taking Chelsea.
Definitely taking Chelsea. Giroud, the star against his former team, right?
Yep.
Giroud has won, I think, like 5 FA Cup or something like that.
I think
he's won a couple. 4, yeah. So he's probably be chasing his 5th one, maybe. But I still got Arsenal.
That's it. That's all we got for you guys for this week. Once again, check in with us next week as we wrap up Serie A officially, as we wrap up the FA Cup, and we get you primed and ready for the Champions League, or this special edition of the Champions League. Thanks again for everybody who watched during the live stream, everybody who will watch later. Give us a like, subscribe to the Full Heel Network because Full Heel does a lot of cool stuff like watch old school pro wrestling as well as the latest UFC fights. And let us know what you guys think. Let us know what you want us to talk about. I'm open to discussion with the general public, I guess. But yeah, thanks again. We'll see you guys next week on Monday. Have a good weekend and watch some of this American football. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't like MLS, but it's only going to get better. I promise. I think. I won't promise.
Oh,
yeah. Peace out, y'all, from everybody here. Thanks again.
Wow.
Station strangers remind us of danger. The unknown presents us, attempting to